Hello and welcome. If you've ever wondered why smart people make foolish money choices, or why two people with the same income can end up in wildly different financial places, you're not alone. Today, we're going to explore one of the most insightful books about money you'll ever hear, not because it's full of complex formulas or investment tips, but because it reveals something far more powerful: how your behavior, your history, and even your emotions shape your relationship with money. This is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, a book that isn't really about dollars and cents, but about people. Over the next hour, we'll walk through its core ideas together, like friends chatting over coffee. No jargon, no pressure, just real talk about what money really means in our lives. Let's begin.
Most of us think managing money is a math problem. We imagine if we just had the right spreadsheet, the perfect budgeting app, or a genius financial advisor, everything would fall into place. But Morgan Housel says, nope. The truth is, personal finance is less like physics and more like psychology. Think of it this way. Two engineers graduate from the same university. One saves diligently, lives below their means, and retires early. The other spends every paycheck on luxury cars and ends up stressed and in debt. Same IQ, same education, totally different outcomes. Why? Because money decisions aren't made in a vacuum. They're shaped by your upbringing, your fears, your dreams, even your luck. So the real skill isn't calculating returns, it's understanding yourself.
Here's a truth we often ignore. Nothing in life, especially money, is 100% within our control. Housel tells the story of two World War II veterans. Both were smart, hardworking, and disciplined, but one happened to be stationed in a quiet part of Europe, the other was sent to the front lines. One came home unscathed and built a business. The other never got the chance. Was one better with money? Not really. Luck played a huge role. On the flip side, risk is always lurking. That hot stock tip, that can't-lose real estate deal, they might work out, but they might also blow up because of forces no one saw coming. The key takeaway? When judging others' success or your own, always leave room for both luck and risk. Don't assume every rich person is brilliant or every broke person is lazy. Reality is messier and humbler.
Imagine you earn $50,000 a year. You dream of $100,000. Then you hit $100,000, and suddenly you want $200,000, then $500,000, and so on. This is the moving goalpost trap, and it's one of the biggest threats to financial peace. Housel shares a powerful idea. Enough is a choice, not a number, not a milestone, a mindset. Because if you don't define what enough looks like for you, you'll spend your whole life chasing more while sacrificing time, health, and relationships along the way. He tells the story of Ronald Reed, a gas station attendant and janitor who quietly saved and invested his modest income. When he died, he left behind over $8 million. Not because he earned millions, but because he lived far below his means and knew what enough felt like. Meanwhile, some lottery winners go broke within years because they never learned to say, "I have enough." So ask yourself, what does enough look like in your life? And are you willing to stop chasing more once you get there?
If you've heard of compound interest, you probably think it's boring. But Housel calls it the greatest force in finance, and for good reason. Let's say you invest $1,000 at age 25 and earn 7% per year. By age 65, that becomes over $15,000. Not bad. But if you wait until 35 to start, you'd only have about $7,600. That's the power of time. Not huge returns, not risky bets, just consistency over decades. Warren Buffett didn't become a billionaire because he's a genius stock picker, though he is. He became a billionaire because he started investing seriously at age 10 and never stopped. Over 80 years, compounding turned small gains into something unimaginable. The lesson? Start early, stay consistent, and don't interrupt the process by panicking during market dips. Patience isn't passive, it's your superpower.
Getting rich and staying rich require two totally different skills. Getting rich often demands risk-taking, optimism, and bold moves. Think entrepreneurs launching startups or investors betting big on new tech. But staying rich, that's about humility, frugality, and paranoia. It's about knowing that what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow, and building a margin of safety just in case. Housel compares it to driving. Speed gets you places fast, but brakes keep you alive. Many people build wealth, then lose it all because they confuse the two phases. They keep taking big risks even after they've won, forgetting that preserving what you have is just as important as growing it. So, once you've built something meaningful, protect it fiercely. Sleeping well at night matters more than bragging rights.
Why do some people hoard cash while others spend freely? Why do some panic when the market drops while others see opportunity? A lot of it comes down to your personal history, especially what you experienced during your formative years, roughly ages 15 to 25. If you grew up during a recession, you might be extra cautious with money, even if times are good now. If you came of age during a bull market, you might assume stocks only go up. There's no right money personality, but it helps to know yours and understand that others' views are shaped by experiences you may never have had. So before you judge someone's financial choices or feel insecure about your own, remember, everyone's playing a different game with different rules and different memories.
In finance, as in life, things rarely go exactly as planned. That's why Housel insists on building a margin of error into every decision. Keep extra cash. Avoid maxing out credit. Don't put all your savings into one investment. Why? Because the world is unpredictable. A job loss, a medical emergency, a global pandemic. These aren't worst-case scenarios, they're just life. Having room for error means you won't be forced to sell low during a crash or take desperate measures when things go sideways. It gives you time, and time is your greatest ally. Think of it like wearing a seatbelt. You hope you never need it, but you'd be foolish not to wear it. We live in a world that equates money with stuff. Fancy cars, designer clothes, luxury vacations. But Housel flips that idea on its head. Real wealth isn't what you spend, it's what you don't spend. It's the unspent money, the unclaimed lifestyle, the invisible savings growing quietly in the background. The person driving a 10-year-old Honda might be a millionaire. The one leasing a new BMW might be drowning in debt. Appearances lie. True financial strength is hidden, and that's okay. In fact, it's better, because when your wealth is invisible, you're free from the pressure to perform, impress, or keep up. As Housel puts it, you can't spend what you don't show off.
Most people save for specific goals, a house, retirement, college tuition, but Housel argues the most powerful reason to save is for the unknown, for the opportunities you can't foresee, for the emergencies you hope never come, for the freedom to walk away from a toxic job or care for a loved one. Saving isn't just about future purchases, it's about future options, and options bring peace of mind. Even if you don't know why you're saving, save anyway, because the greatest luxury money can buy is control over your time, and that starts with a cushion of cash. At the end of the day, what do we really want from money? Not just security, not just comfort, but freedom. Freedom to wake up and choose how to spend your day. Freedom to say no to things that drain you. Freedom to take risks, make mistakes, and change your mind. Housel says the highest dividend money pays isn't a bigger house or a faster car. It's the ability to control your own life. And that kind of wealth, it doesn't require millions. It just requires enough and the wisdom to protect it.
So, what's the big picture here? The Psychology of Money isn't a manual for getting rich quick. It's a guide to thinking clearly about money so you can live well, on your own terms. It reminds us that behavior beats calculation. Luck and risk are always in the room. Enough is a decision, not a dollar amount. Time and patience compound quietly but powerfully. And true wealth is invisible, internal, and deeply personal. You don't need to outsmart the market. You just need to understand yourself and stay humble in the face of uncertainty. Because in the end, money isn't about numbers on a screen. It's about the life you're trying to build. So take a breath, define your enough, save consistently, leave room for error, and never forget the goal isn't to impress others, is to give yourself the freedom to live well, today and for decades to come. Thanks for listening. May your journey with money be calm, clear, and full of meaning.